It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the latest with me. Obiajilu, how you doing today?
Amazing.
Good to see you. I love the hair.
Thank you. You know how we do.
Look like $1 million, man.
I'm money.
That hair can be cheap.
Of course it's not.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. So yesterday I went home. I took a nap in the afternoon. I didn't have any plans, but thankfully I was able to get a guy a pair of shoes.
Oh,
thankfully,
nice.
I didn't plan it. I just stumbled on the shoes from Miriam and I just picked it.
Did he like it?
Yes, he loved it. So as he got into the room in the evening, because we didn't plan anything, he said, "Oh, I feel bad. I didn't get you anything.
Aww.
You're not shouting at me." I said, "You have known me 20 years. Do I shout?" He said, "Hey, but some people would have raised the roof down." I said, "Well, sometimes they do because they don't get that sort of love on a daily basis. I'm used to you loving me, so and I know you will still pay me later. So what are you talking about?" Before I was like, "Okay, what do you want? What do you want? Anything, just tell me." I said, "Let me calm down, think about it, and I'll give you my bill."
Hello, Olayemi in the building.
Woo! Hello, good morning.
Good to have you here.
Yeah, it's good to be here again.
Tell us what's happening.
All right, what's happening? Okay, what did I get up to yesterday after the show? I went to watch The Woman King.
At the cinema.
Yes, I'm late to the party, right? Yes, at the cinema. Yeah, it's still at the cinema. I don't think it's anywhere else right now. No. So yeah, it was good. Yes, I did. I did.
Brotherhood too?
I have not. So I'm planning on seeing that. And then I've been working on my YouTube channel. I do have a YouTube channel, Chat Out with Honeypot. And so we talk about sociocultural issues, and then it takes my time editing and all that because I don't think I'm making money yet. So I cannot afford to start paying people. I have to do everything right now. But when people subscribe and then we have a lot of views and all that, then we can get money and all that.
No matter how long it takes, just continue.
Don't
look right, don't look left, just continue.
Thank you.
Don't give up.
Yeah.
That content thing is a job.
It is actually. It is. Yeah.
How you doing, Mariam Lunge?
Fine. I didn't sleep. I've got stuffy nose.
I can see that. I hear that.
Throat, and I don't feel miserable, but I feel miserable.
Oh my God.
But I'm happy to be here, So that's all.
Can you make it through the week? Don't go and call in sick tomorrow.
We'll
struggle yourself to Friday. Make it happen. Yourself. I'm saying.
I just think the universe doesn't need to work in October.
I got you.
How you doing?
I'm doing well.
I love your yellow shirt.
You do? I don't.
Looks good on you, yeah.
Really?
Yellow, orange.
I've had it for like a few months. I've just been, look, should I wear? Should I not wear? Should I wear?
It's really
I didn't have anything to wear.
You don't like loud colors?
I don't like those bright colors that just announces you.
What
do you think?
They affect your mood, actually. I love to wear them sometimes because, I'm just happy. I'm just happy.
You for real? I never really observed that. Orange gives me that.
Yeah,
but not
orange is your color. And then orange red, I'll just be looking for trouble, violence everywhere.
Are you kidding? Are you for real? Oh, that's interesting to know. Anyways, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. How I will boost economy, enhance security by Tinubu. Buhari to unveil Tinubu's campaign document council this Friday. How Nigeria can achieve industrialization by Dangote. Not elders disown Atiku, don't vote Yoruba Igbo comment. Wike endorses Sanwo-Olu for second term. Governors demand state police and others. Bank of America predicts Naira depreciation. And Army leads exercise to rout criminals in Lagos and Ogun State. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Okay, I'll start with the River State Governor, Nyesom Wike. Yesterday at the National Women's Conference organized by the Committee of Wives of Lagos State Officials that held at Eco Hotel. The theme for this year's event was Spring Forth and Stand Out. And while he was there, he hailed the governor of Lagos State. He said he's doing very well, and as far as he's concerned, anybody running against him is wasting their time. He says that he does not play politics of ethnicity. If you're in his party or you're from his place and you're not doing well, he would not even have shown up for the event. He was also very complimentary of the work that the wife of the Lagos State Governor is doing with this organization, and he made a pledge of a lot of money. I can't find it here, but a lot of money. And also the governor of the state also spoke and enjoined the youth to vote for him, and
right.
That's it.
So Dangote, he's an industrialist. He was speaking yesterday at the second Adiola Odutola presidential luncheon in Lagos, where he was guest speaker, and he was talking about how Nigeria can achieve industrialization, and he preferred some suggestions. He said that there are several factors that need to be in place for Nigeria to be fully industrialized, and these include security, rule of law, industry-oriented government policy, adequate infrastructure, industry-oriented research and development, the R&D, a well-developed SME sector, building of human capacity, an embrace of technology to improve efficiency through information and manufacturing processes. These are some of the key steps that Nigeria must take to become fully industrialized, which can therefore improve our economy and into our GDP growth.
All right, so I actually took this one, not elders disown Atiku. All right, and so Erewa Joint Committee has disowned itself, or actually detached themselves from the statement he made about the don't vote Yoruba, don't vote Igbo statement. And they're saying that, over the weekend they had this meeting, and what they were about was just for them to bring to the fore whatever thing they have, like the aspirants to bring to the fore whatever thing they have planned for Nigeria. So they're not in support of anything, any statements, that he made. So they're just taking themselves out of it and saying that that is not what they stand for. And so they don't even encourage anything like that.
Yeah, so the National Assembly and 24 governors are having a face-off over the refusal of 24 houses of assembly to pass 44 constitution amendment bills transmitted to them in March this year. So the 24 houses of assembly are telling the legislative body that they will not consider and pass the bills except they add additional 4 bills to it. And they mentioned the 4 bills, which is to establish state police, state judicial council, streamline the procedure for removing presiding officers of houses of assembly, and institutionalize legislative bureaucracy in the constitution. And they've been going back and forth. So there was this conference that was held by Ovie Omo-Agege, and they said most of the committee members were not involved in that. The chairman, House of Representatives, ad hoc committee on constitution review was not there, though they said that Ahmed Wase had given him the go-ahead. That's Ovie Omo-Agege, the go-ahead to handle the meeting. So the issue now is 11 states have considered, gotten with the 44 constitutional reviews. They've signed it. But 24 states are refusing to sign it until they add that 4 additional. And that 4 additional is quite important. We've been talking about state policing for a very long time.
So those 11 states are just very quickly to
why are they rushing?
Yes, they obviously are not interested in state policing. They're having issues with this judicial independence talking about. And those states, we should have conversations with them.
Yeah, they should understand what we're saying.
Not,
interested in state policing.
Okay, let's move on quickly now to The Punch. Political rally attacks annex someone's parties. Police plan 13 billion naira firearms purchase. Flood victims battle hunger, risk disease in Anambra. I don't know who killed Ataga. I fled in fear, says Chidinma. Ogun workers quit Chinese factory protest, colleagues' death. FG to complete Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in December. Ibadan Tinubu launches campaign, unveils manifesto this Friday. Nigerians pay over 1 trillion naira tax to 36 states. Insurgency killed 100,000, displaced 2 million, says CDS. An incoming administration to inherit $760 million judgment debts. Interesting. Okay, which story are we starting with?
We've got the picture story, the sad situation in Anambra State. So the flood victims had been taken by NEMA and also the state emergency management agencies to different IDP camps, but they said since they have been there 2 weeks, they haven't received food or, from the agencies. And the only way they've been feeding is because of personal donations of materials, and which has led that most of them just feed, or all of them, they feed once a day. They said that there are no mosquito nets. Most of them are sleeping on the bare floor. Just that the places have not been, they're not well catered to at, this period. And I guess it's just asking that the government should do something and just make, already it's a tough situation, just make a tough situation a bit better. Yes.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with our reviews. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics. The ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's Your View. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for a fantastic conversation. Don't miss it.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosity.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. I'm going to Honeypot.
All right, yeah. So here I've got Nigerians pay 1.2 trillion naira to tax to 36 states. All right, so Nigerians across the 36 states of the Federation paid 1.23 trillion naira in taxes in 2021, a 19.19% increase from the 1.03 trillion naira paid in 2020. I mean, I think this is good news, like it's improving. Yeah, so this is actually according to the data from the state internally generated revenue report by the National Bureau of Statistics released recently. And according to the data, tax revenues actually accounted for 66.16% of state IGR, that is 1.56 trillion naira in 2020, and 64.88% of 1.89 trillion naira in 2021.
Wow, nice. So workers of a Chinese recycling plant got burnt. The Chinese plant got burnt in Abulo Dodo, Papalanto Road, Ogun State. Papalanto, I know that one. They have been protesting about their the death of their colleagues, and they said the fire happened as a result of one of the machines, falling and catching fire. And so the company heads now locked the premises and asked them to use buckets of water to put out the fire. So they were struggling to put out the fire and save 3 of their colleagues. According to one of them, they said it was more than even 3 people that died. Some were burnt beyond recognition. They are still trying to do like a head count. Now the Chinese company has been appealing to the workers because they had started protesting, saying that they want to go, they want to stop working for the company, and they need to be paid what they have worked for. So they have been appealing to them not to go. There was a traditional chief in the area who was called into the matter, and he's also appealed to them that the Chinese company will take ownership of what has happened and find a way to compensate them. But they are really angry, saying that they have even been maltreated even while doing the work, and so it's a no-no for them. They want to go, and they need the family members of the lost ones to be really, really compensated before they let the matter die.
All right, so INEC is warning all the political parties that has summoned them actually for a meeting. There was a training they had yesterday in Abuja with the trainers, preparing them for the 2023 elections, saying that there were clashes between all the parties, that they should warn their followers. If you recall, recently there was a clash between the APC and the LP supporters. I think the PDP supporters also were attacked, and I think in Kaduna. So INEC was saying that, listen, you have to talk to your followers. You cannot, we don't want to have a campaign based on hate speech and slander. We want it to be based on issues, and that's what we should encourage. He also mentioned at that training that the police plans to spend 13 billion naira to acquire arms for the elections.
And they need to protect people.
Yeah, but it's a lot of money,
right?
Yeah, so I mean, but I'm happy that they highlighted a few videos that went viral where we had the Pirates Confraternity where they were singing against one of the flag bearers. Listen, let us have
this is not what we need right now.
At the end of the day, one person will win, and we still have Nigeria.
Make it about the issues.
Yeah,
That's right.
Okay, let's move on very quickly to Vanguard. Floods, Delta, Anambra, Benue, Bayelsa governors cry to federal government for help. I'll advance your legacies, Tinubu assures Buhari. Burning of crude oil vessel, Tompolo Fault Falana defends CDS and Navy. Allow Konua Namda to coexist with ASU, FG tells Nigerian Labour Congress. FG backs OPEC production output. No, they actually back OPEC production cutbacks. Zamfara government bows to pressure, withdraws orders shutting broadcast stations. Oh, fantastic. We took that story yesterday.
Yeah.
2023, Wike pitches tent with Sanwo-Olu. 2023, start preparing transition documents. Buhari directs SGF and ministers. Bandits invade hospital, kill 2, abduct scores in Niger State. Which story are we starting with? Go ahead.
Okay, let me do Zamfara since it's what happened. We're taking the story that the governor had shut down media houses in Zamfara State because they had covered an illegal rally, what he calls it. But as of today's report, is saying that the government is apologizing for that, for what it did, but that the governor was angered because this was something that he had specifically stated should not happen in the state, given that they had just had a resurgence of bandit attacks in a couple of communities in the state. And so he had said everything that has to do with political rally, political meetings, activities need to be stopped for now. And, you know, just the security of the state and its indigents put on the forefront. And then to have the PDP go ahead to do a rally. And what happened also is that because of this rally, one man has been confirmed dead, shot dead, and 18 others have been injured during this event. So just everything and the fallout of the rally, that's what made him do this. But thankfully, the media houses have been allowed to go on. But he's asking the media to please work hand in hand with the government to ensure safety and security in the state.
Yes. Right. So I do have Tompolo 14 Falano for the burnt crude oil vessel. Tantita, that's Security Services Nigeria Limited, TSSNL, the private security company operated by ex-militant leader government Ekwemopolo, alias Tompolo, has countered the claim by Femi Falana SAN that the Chief of Defense Staff CDS, General Lucky Irabo, and Nigerian Navy were wrong in the burning of crude oil vessel recently seized by his company for oil thefts. And, it went on, saying that, he contended that Falana and those opposed to the CDS incorrectly relied on the Armed Forces Act, but the applicable law in the case in question is the Hydrocarbon Oils Refining Act. Care must be taken not to provide unwarranted solace to the people who destroy our environment, rape our commonwealth, and cheat our nation of the resources. He kept saying and all that. But on this particular one, people have been saying that that means there is a cover-up. Why burn the crude oil vessel? Like, who are the people behind it? Have they actually brought out people and all that? That is still some talks right there.
Okay, so President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday directed the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, that's the SGF, Mr. Boss Mustafa, and ministers to start preparing transition plan for the incoming administration so that they ensure that there's a proper documentation that is done of all the policies, programs, and projects of government that have been carried out. They also said the status of all the implementations must be recorded. And so he was warning political appointees. He said, we know that this is the time for politics, but they should not abandon their jobs and face politics. And anyone who is found wanting will be really dealt with, according to him. He went ahead to say while he was, there was this performance review retreat that they had, and he was, saying everything that they needed to do. And he's admonishing all the ministers and departments and NDAs to ensure that they keep writing the quarterly reports, because this is going to serve as a bedrock of what they will hand over to the incoming administration. Everybody must face their job while you're politicking, ensure that you're working so that you can hand over to the next administration properly.
So the international oil companies, their divestment in onshore could actually be a threat to job security in Nigeria. This was said by the chief executive of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Mr. Gbenga Komolafe. He was saying this at the Pengassin Annual Conference, and where he was saying that was the two reasons why many of these IOCs are leaving. He says poor return on investment and the continuous theft in the Niger Delta of crude. Those are the two reasons why these guys are divesting. But however, it's supposed to give opportunities to indigenous players to take up these the onshore investment. However, the problem is that it might lead to a lot of job insecurity, because if the reason why those ones left is because there was no return on investment, there's a possibility that even those local players may not be able to also reap the benefits if the government doesn't put the right policies in place to stop this oil theft that we continually experience, and which is why Poverty to Bully was engaged to reduce that. Okay, moving on quickly now to the Nigerian Tribune. Buhari to unveil Tinubu's manifesto, inaugurate campaigns council by Friday. No plan to endorse any presidential candidates, modern elders insist. Bayelsa governor cries for help as flood displaces 1 million people. Gunmen kill community leader, abduct 5, injure 2 others in Plateau. Kogi Assembly summons BOA over the 50,000 hectare land acquisition. 10.5 million children lost parents, caregivers to COVID-19, says United Nations. And local government autonomy, governors holding Nigerians hostage, says National Assembly. Okay, which story are we starting with?
I can do the flood. Bayelsa State is crying out. Seriously, Governor Doyo Diri has said that the situation is getting worse and he's calling on the federal government to do something to help. They said they have lost about 1 million people already from the communities. He had to even give directive that all the workers in the state should stay at home and find a way to, help themselves for now. So they said a few people have died. They didn't give the number of those people who have lost their lives. And there were some critical areas like the bridges connecting different communities. About 300 communities have been sacked in that area. And they are sort of cut off from the rest of the state. So it's a very dire situation and he's calling for help. He mentioned some of the areas, Sagbama, Ekeremo, Southern Ijo, Ogbia, Yenagua, Nembe, Kolokuma, Opuma local government. And he went ahead to also warn some miscreants who are taking advantage to rob people in the midst of everything that's going on, that if you're caught, you'll be severely dealt with. So I think, I don't know, everybody keeps calling on the federal government, but I think the politicians in that area can come together and see what they can do for the people of the state while we're still waiting for the federal government to do something.
I'd like to draw attention to the picture story in Tribune. I forgot to take that. If you can get that on the screen. Is the presidential candidate of the PDP, that's Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, in a chat with foreign media in Paris, France on Tuesday. If you recall, there were stories, indications that, he left Nigeria sick, that he was tired. There were social media reports saying that, Atiku was not feeling well and he was rushed to France. Nigerians. That's a picture story of him looking healthy. To media, some foreign media in France. And I think it's an opportunity for us to also tell that we should stop peddling all these rumors.
Hate speech and all of this,
That's what it is, lies. This is a man standing right there. So.
All right, so I have no plan to endorse any candidates, and it's actually a follow-up to what I took the other time about the Erewa Northern Elders under the aegis of the Erewa Joint Committee and organizers. So, that particular meeting they had over the weekend, they're still talking about it, and, included presidential dialogue with some presidential candidates. And I said that there is no plan to endorse any of the candidates. But the exercise was just intended to probe aspirants ahead of the 2023 general election.
Okay. Any important stories?
They abducted the community leader. They said this government got into the community about 11 p.m. That the residents were tortured, just seriously tortured, and then the community leader was taken and 5 members of his family was killed, and then 5 members of his family were abducted. The police have confirmed that this happened, but they also say that details of the incident is a bit sketchy, but as we know, they will look into it. The government left with also motorcycles and food items from the community.
Really sad. Okay, that is all we can take on the front page review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bali, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC communication story.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports,
Thanks for staying with us. So today we're discussing cyberbullying. Bullying happens between different people, private citizens, fathers, children. But when it happens within public officers and citizens, it's a whole nother conversation. So yesterday, it was quite interesting to see a back and forth between Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa, who is the chairman, of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, and someone who someone that you could consider a cyberbully or a troll. That's a new word for it now. A troll who had sent a tweet, which he responded for. So for those of you that have no idea what we're talking about, so I'll try to read the tweet to you. So a gentleman who calls themselves aggressively obedient, avoid me,
Gentleman.
said she should go to Indonesia and see how Nigerians are treated. Mumu woman, supporting a failed government. She's equally part of the failure. Eye service, exclamation mark. Now, Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa now replied, this person says, Ode, you go to Indonesia, carry drugs, do cultism, and come begging to be rescued from death sentence. Thank God for NDLA Nigeria, now saving people like you from death row. Then, Dr. Ezekwesili saw that tweet and replied, Dear Abike, what is this? Kai, this is messy. Please, clean it up quickly, please. Then, of course, Honorable Abike really immediately replied and said, I'm done with this, but out of respect for you, because it is you, clean what up? It's okay for some untrained, uncouth guy to refer to me as Mumu, and I can't call him out, or I can't call him Ode. I'm not a public official that cows to bullying, please. Of course, it went on, and then others were highlighting the fact that she was stereotyping or saying that, I alleged that, you go to do drugs and cultivating and be begging us to rescue you. So different parts of this conversation, where you see, it brings to the thought again on how we handle cyberbullying, and even what we talked in the papers today, where INEC is saying everything concerning the elections must be about issues, and we should stop hating and bullying each other and hate speech or slandering others. Let us keep it about the issues. What are your thoughts on this tweets back and forth, her response, and even the initial Twitter?
Yes.
What he tweeted. What are your thoughts? Let me start with you, Olayemi.
All right, so I would say that, that saying that says that if you don't have anything nice to say, just keep quiet, do not say anything, then boom, social media came into our lives. And it is just a way for people to express themselves according to them, to abuse you directly, hiding behind the keypads, I do not subscribe to it in any way at all, yes. And I fault both of them, I do not even subscribe to it. Calling somebody, I think that you can actually pass your message, without abusing someone, without insulting someone. How do you call somebody Mumu? And then what response would you expect from that person? Then now we talk about, be the bigger person. Be the bigger person. Do not say anything bad, especially with the fact that you are in the public eye and all that. These people too are human beings. They have blood running in their bodies, but that does not, excuse that fact that she said, Ode, because I do think, that actually prompted the Ode. But I do think, again, that there are sometimes, because I'm putting myself in the shoes so that somebody does not come and say that, if you're not in somebody's shoes, stop saying what you can't even do. I see a lot of people troll me online, and then I choose not to answer them. Sometimes I think that, answering people like this will just put you on the same level, dragging you to the gutters and all that, which I think can be messy, but then she too can pass a message, saying that we do all of these things, but then she's a human being. So I'm looking for a way to actually
finding the sweet spot.
Okay,
yes.
Let me come to BC. Your thoughts when you read this story.
Hey, there were several issues that came into my head. One is the lack of respect for our elders. It's becoming very appalling. It's degenerating every blessed day. There is this this belief that because I have a platform, I'm on social media, I have data, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on all the other social media platforms, I can just speak to anybody anyhow without thinking about it. It's okay for me to just say my mind. After all, I'm saying my mind. I'm showing my authentic self. This is who I am, And then we disrespect people. I've always had issues with you trying to correct somebody and then use insulting words. We always join people's personalities to what we're trying to say. Can we find that balance to separate it? The issue on hand, tackle the issue. Why do you go after somebody, insulting the person's personality, insulting the person's family, insulting the person's home? Even yesterday, I still had trolls coming into my DM, insulting my generations to come and all of that. I was not in a place to respond. I was not in the mood. But we need to understand something, that nobody has the monopoly of Chris. We can all be crazy. Even if you say, take a higher road and don't act like they're animal, don't come closer. Science said we're higher animals. So sometimes I can come down to the basics. If you're not going to listen to me, I can't come down to the basics. And when I finish, I dust off myself and I move on, depending on the side that I wake up on. So if we have to call out people for responding, can we call out people for saying, for starting what is causing that response? Because Abike Dabiri did not just open her eyes to go and call people Ode. She was insulted by somebody who is not even old enough to probably be her son. If they had insulted your mother, you saw that kind of message to your mother, and you standing by as a child, what would you do? Would you tell your mother, Mommy, no, let's take the higher road? We will beat you. That's the thing. So people should learn to see. If you know you cannot match the energy when you see that person physically, don't run to just tweet or type or say whatever it is in the name of, and I agree with her. We have condoned these trolls for a very long time, and that's why they feel they can throw what's around. After all, you're supposed to be on TV now. You should know better. Don't respond. Take the higher road, and that gives them the energy to keep giving it to you. Sometimes, nyaha back. Fire for fire.
So there's a part of this. So thank you.
Back.
Let me hear your initial thoughts on it, because when we got that message, you know, there were two parts of it. There's the other part, and the part of, oh, she's stereotyping. Did you see that? Did you think that you're stereotyping?
No.
What are your thoughts?
I didn't see. Okay, my initial thoughts is similar to both of yours, which is, you know, don't be rude. And yes, we understand that she's a public servant, and there's a way that she should, you know, use her office in relaying her message. But you know, I would say this if you had told me this like 3 years ago. You know, a few years ago, I'm like, no, I'm the higher road person. They go low, you know now, you know. I'm like, just ignore, you know. But today and yesterday, it happened to me one day. I had to speak up, and I spoke up on this particular case because of what happened to you and Tokwe and the whole of this station, because some people were allowed to spew lies over and over and over again on Twitter, on social media, and nobody said anything. And those lies were now carried on by other people as truth, and they were willing to kill, as far as I'm concerned. They brought down a whole establishment. They were willing to destroy everything because of these lies that were allowed to just go on you know, defended. So, yes, I feel that there's a way that she should have responded to this. There's a better way that she could have responded to this, but I also understand that she's human. And so he got the message. Now, the second part of the message, which is Ezekwesili saying to her,
take this down.
Take this down. This happened to me as well. People who were like, oh, Miriam, I'm such a huge fan. I respect you. I can't believe you said this. I'm like, did you see what was said first? If you're such a huge fan and you know me and you know that this is not me, why did you not address the person that started it? Why do we allow bad behavior to just go and then attack the person that, you know, is trying to stand up for themselves and you know that that is not the person's behavior? Why didn't... Mrs. Dr. Ezekwesili, whom I admire so much, I feel in this case she should have said to that initial Twitter person, you should not be doing that. You know, so I understand also her anger to, Madam, I respect you and that's why I'm responding to this, but the root, the cause of this issue is that person. Why should we not address it? Then the person that said stereotyping, that's what happens. One lie is dropped, one person will bring a coloration. Before you know it, a huge monster has been created, very different from the initial conversation. And that is why sometimes it is important. I think public servants need to have someone that just sits on that Twitter and responds properly and gives context over and over as the tweet is going. Because what happens is 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, someone will pick something up and say, this is who she said something about an ethnic group, and that's that, without context, with nothing. So it's important that you speak up for yourself, but when you're in public office, maybe find a way to do. There are nice ways to get to people.
In fact, there are nice ways to tell that person to go to hell.
And they look forward to it.
And nobody will be able to hold you.
No, they'll look forward to it.
That's if they'll look forward to it. And nobody will be able to grab you. So it is being polite, but at the same time, you're passing your message and you're saying your head is not correct.
But all of us cannot be that polite.
Let me go on the break. When we come back,
we need room
to take
for
this further. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Till the So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man?
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC Communications story.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics. The ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's Your View. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for a fantastic conversation. Don't miss it.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this matter that happened yesterday, and there's a part of it that we've not talked about, because the original tweet was asking Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa to go to Indonesia and see how Nigerians are treated. That's an issue. And it also reminds us of the fact that, I mean, we saw reports that said that once you enter Indonesia, there's a board right there in your face. If you penalty for drugs,
that's right.
Death.
That's right.
It's in your face that as you're entering,
from the beginning,
it's clear. And even their commission have told us several times that, listen, in Indonesia, they don't take bebe, and no matter how much I beg you,
that's right.
They don't take. We go and beg, and they don't listen. Please don't take drugs. So these are Nigerians. Sometimes we put ourselves in that situation where we now get arrested, detained, and now on death row. Because according to more of the tweets I read, there are about 21, or reports that I read, there were 21 Nigerians on death row. 20 of which are from different parts of the country. So you see, so the point is, when we're discussing these issues, let us look at it exactly as it is and focus on it, and not then define and try to color it with different things, which is what she was trying to say here.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So before jumping to the crux of the matter, there was also another part of it that I wanted us to highlight, which is, she mentioned a bit of it already. Dr. Obi, mentioning that, try and clean this up and all of that. Yeah. That shouldn't have been, if you ask me, my personal opinion, the place to chastise your colleague or your friend or your...
Chastise.
No,
just express her.
She may not know her personality.
She can send a DM. So if something like that happens and I'm reacting and you want to correct me, I don't expect you to correct me in public. You would call me or send me a DM and say, BC, what did they happen now? Oh, yeah, drop that phone now. In fact, clean that, that sort of thing just shows that you really mean well, and not because you want to show that you mean well. Do you understand? So we need to find that balance, and we need to hold each other's hands, because being in the public eye is a lot of stress and work. Most people get depressed on a daily basis because of the energy, the things that they receive. You're doing your job and people feel you're talking from one side, you're talking from the other side. That's one. Secondly, the fact that you pick up one political party and say, this is where I want to put support, and every other person castigates you because you see things differently, was what started this in the first place. Because the person was saying now added to the fact that you decided to support this administration and insulted was because she was supporting that administration, which should be her right as a human being to say, this is where I want to work, this is where I want to... Can we accept our differences and understand that how you're seeing things is different from how I'm saying things? If I believe that this person will work, I'll go for this person. I don't have to now castigate you because you don't believe what I believe. That's where the issue started from.
Yeah, absolutely. It goes back to what Inek was trying to say, that listen, all the parties should warn their followers across board.
Yeah.
Because I really want to believe that the flag bearers don't agree with many of these things that happen on social media, online. I would like to believe that. I don't want to believe that each of them say, please go ahead. No. I would like to believe they don't agree with it. But they must come out openly to tell their followers to sheath their swords, especially online.
All right, so I would like to liken this to what is happening in the US. I mean, to a US case where Brittany Renner is actually in Russian jail because marijuana was, caught in a possession. It's just been, people have been saying that US is on this case. They want to get this person out. But, in Nigeria, when you have public officials, they are doing it like it's a daunting task. Oh, this thing that you have called us to do, it is your job do this thing. If people are in jail, if people are in prison, they are in like in other countries, like it is your job. Why are you there complaining that, oh, you people are the ones who get into...
But you have the data, Olayemi. It says that there are about 400 Nigerians in prison, 96 on death row. And the number keeps changing. Now, if we are a country, if Americans have 400 of their people in jails and 96 on death row, I don't know if they'll be doing the same thing they did for this lady you're talking about. The point is that we also need to check ourselves. You know, I always go about we, as much as we point fingers, let's look at ourselves. We also the people. We talk about how the reputation Nigerians have abroad is something that we need to continually clean up. We say it all the time. When you go out to Dubai, we saw how cultism was in Dubai, where they were taking them cutlasses, butchering themselves. We saw it, the repercussions of this on our own people. So as much as we are pointing finger at government, do more. We the people must also, like, there are laws. Not like they can call a commissioner of police, they can call my brother, please. Over there, there's only so much the government can do to get you out. They can use their diplomatic arrangements, but they can't. How much?
So not just to color her office or what she's doing, like, why are you complaining? There are many things, there are many issues that have arisen that we have had to call her, and she has spoken, and we've read in the papers. Issue of our students in Ukraine.
That's right.
I mean, students that were being Libya, students in a particular country.
India recently.
It was not even India. There's just a particular country where, you know, students were reporting that they were being targeted and treated badly. We had even someone come, like a Nigerian student that schools there, like a representative of the school, trying to let us know that it is not that way. But after many investigations, we found out recently that it's actually Nigerian students were being targeted.
One of these countries.
So they are doing their job. Of course, can they do better? Is there room to improve? There is. But if for all these issues, she's, you know, a phone call away, she's on TV, not just here, anywhere else, constantly talking through the issues with us and keeping us updated. So it's not. So I can imagine when you feel like I'm resuming first thing in the morning. Sometimes, you know, I haven't even seen my family. I am doing my best, you know, and then you have someone that just uses a tweet and just, you know, that just makes everything seem like you're useless or you're not doing anything. There's that part of you that feels this anger.
Do you
like,
even
really? Get all that I've done, NDLEA, we heard about all the fantastic, the investigation that led to the arrest of those drug barons. And the end, somebody tweeted something that made it look like they had done nothing. How does that make you feel? I don't justify you using your public office to respond to people back and forth, you know. But the thing is, I'm asking Nigerians to be more respectful of the hard work that people are putting in. And then for those who are working hard, let's recognize their work that they're doing. If we are unhappy with some parts of the things that they're doing, there's a way that we can tell them. I know some people who, when they meet with you, they are so respectful. When you now, for some reason, go to their Twitter handle, you're wondering, which personality is this? Who is this person? The person is rude and uncouth on social media, but yet when the person sits with you, why can't you take that behavior? Because you're clout chasing? Because you want people to hail you as the biggest shader of all times? It's not right. Let's just find better ways to communicate with each other.
We've discussed this Indonesia issue and this the NIPCOM. I want us to go back to cyberbullying, which is really the crux, because all of us have experienced it. And this is an opportunity for us to also address this issue. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC communications story.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail, or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues,
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this issue of cyberbullying, and we're going back to why we still have people who are constantly insulting each other on social media. And I have a message here from Mrs. Okorafo. She's the former director of at Last Subeb, of Becca at Last Subeb. She says, "Good morning, Mariah. How are you all doing? The issue being discussed is a monster. It's really eating deep into our society, for the fact that social media is open to both cultured and uncultured is a huge concern. A lot of cyberbullying, especially from the younger generation. I keep on asking where our values are. However, I want to advise our elders to be enlightened people, to put more emotional intelligence. So Abike Dabiri was insulted, but there was a way to hit harder with your choice of words, which is what you had said. Yes, she should have hit hard, but maybe or there was not the right thing to use at the time."
So, Mariah, we need to understand, first of all, that people see the world the way they are, the way it is. So people react based on how they are feeling. Sometimes the insults we get is not about us. It's not about what we have said. They have just heard beyond what we have said to things that are actually troubling them. So when I'm in that, for instance, I'm in that state where I am aware, because there's a state that and it's every day, it's work in progress. Some of us are working daily to ensure that we are constantly in that state, but sometimes we fall. So when I'm in that state that I am aware, I receive some insults and I smile because I know it's not about me, it's about you. And I just say peace and love, light and whatever, and I send it to you. Yeah, namaste. And I move on because it's not about me. I just pray for you to get healing from whatever it is that is worrying you. Hold on, no, please. But sometimes, when maybe me, myself, I'm struggling with certain things, I'm not in that space to be wishing you peace and light. So when I see that attack, my ego stands up immediately because I'm not present enough, and the ego is the one that is attacking you. So you self that you want to attack somebody, ask yourself, if I get a response back, am I ready for this fight? And the truth of the matter is we cannot respond to everybody. Nobody does. I don't even respond to everybody. There are some people you push aside. But sometimes when you do the response, I'm sure she may even catch herself and say, oh, wow, that was, I shouldn't have. But she has done it. And we need to understand that and move on. The idea is make sure that on every level, we are polite to each other. On every level.
You know, recently, I was bullied. And I got getting calls, you know. I was getting calls from everybody. How are you doing? I was like, I didn't read the comments. I kept saying, I didn't read the comments. I didn't read. Everybody else thought that I was depressed. I didn't see one comment.
Better
for
you.
Because I just posted and I moved on. And I started getting calls. Brian, did you see? I said, I didn't see it. Unfortunately, I wasn't even at home. Usually, if I was in the house, my sister, she would have taken the phone and start telling me or reading and start deleting or whatever. But I wasn't even in the house. So nobody could even tell me anything. I was just getting calls.
You had your peace.
You have refused to read.
And till today,
you didn't go back to that
comment
post.
I've not seen.
And I'm going to take a cue from that. You know, disagreements does not always equal abuse. You know, so now everybody who knows me here at the place of work, they're like, oh, Honeyball does not take nonsense and all that. But there are people that I choose my battles. And I will tell you what happened to me. So I parked my car somewhere and I'd gone to buy something. And when I returned, some people they were sitting down there and they said, oh, so you were the one who parked here. Oh, you parked wrongly. And I did not answer. And so the person just went, and then you go on TV. You'll be talking rubbish. Something. You know? I want to say,
just held yourself.
And then I'm like, thank God. And then I entered. Because number one, I looked at myself. So that person was looking for that opportunity
to get you.
I would answer him, and then when I'll be on that level, and then when I'll be going back and forth, that would be too belittling for me. I would not do that. So I'll go back to what somebody said here before, that maybe public officials should get people who would respond to tweets for them. And, you know, they say this to like all the, even artists, you know, because sometimes they're saying that, oh, just collect this person's phone from them or collect it from them because the way they are responding is not nice and all that. And as we said before, there are receipts. So there are so many times that what you have said, people go back to social media to retrieve this thing, especially when you're running for something or you need something from the public and all that, and then they're referring to all of it.
Let me let you have the last.
Yeah, so for me is that we need to look for a way forward on how to engage on social media. So using Mrs. Abike Dabiri here as an example, she has her office that she goes to and she has her personal home. And when you have issues with her at the office, you go to the office and you follow the protocol to address whatever issues there are. If you're family or relative or friend, there's a way you visit her in her house and whatever issues, you know, you handle. So at home, she understands, she puts on the cap of, okay, this is family issue and this is home issue. What social media does is that everything, your house, your bedroom, your everything is there. So I think that public offices need to have like a
separation.
Yes, a separation. And people also need to be aware that when responses come from this particular page, it comes from the office. And then she as the person or they as people need to have also their separate pages because we can't have this constant back and forth. It has to be, we need to neaten things up going forward.
As I wrap up on this, I think I remember when former President Jonathan tried to remove subsidy. He did it and everybody went, oh, you cannot remove subsidy. And there was this huge protest and everybody, fast forward, everybody's like, you know what, you should have removed that.
I'm telling you.
We should have removed subsidy because now we need more money for XYZ. Same thing, there was a campaign to regulate social media. And everybody said, no, I don't want to clamp the media. They want to do this, they want to gag us, they want to know. Everybody kept saying no. When we see more of this, at least now our eyes are open, are more opened. And we've seen more of this cyberbullying increase. And I think it's time for us to bring up that conversation again. How do we regulate social media to ensure responsible tweeting, responsible commentary across board? So that, yes, we can criticize government because nobody sees us when we criticize government. Every day here, we criticize the government of Buhari because of one thing or the other. They don't see it because they see us through the lens of, oh, the owner of the station, that's the lens they used to see it. No matter what you say,
they don't get it.
They don't remember that the other day you complained about us too. They don't remember the other day that you criticized something. They don't see it. They only watch it through that lens of, oh, the station is this. So no matter what we say,
they don't hear you.
They don't hear you, which is okay for us. And we continue. We have to continue to do what we have to do right, no matter what anybody says. But I think at the end of the day, we must be responsible citizens regardless. And this uncultured, uncouth citizens who take on the social media, somebody must regulate them, and we hope government can stand up to that. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll bring in our next guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bali, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC communication story.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics. The ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's your view. Join us on Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So according to reports, federal government has proposed a total expenditure of 20.51 trillion naira for 2023 financial year, considering our dwindling revenue, that has made our debt servicing higher than our revenue. Joining us on the show is the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Muhammadu Maman Nami, who's going to tell us exactly how he intends to help increase revenue. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good to have you again on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I took a story yesterday in the papers that our debt servicing was about 1.9 trillion and our revenue was about 1.6 trillion somewhat, and that we're actually borrowing 308 billion naira to service our debts. That is quite heartbreaking, and especially when the Minister of Finance kept telling and reassuring Nigerians that we are able to pay our debts, that they have plans to engage people like you to increase revenue via taxes. How is that going, and do we really see any light at the end of this tunnel?
Well, thank you very much. Let me appreciate you once more for the key interest you have in the narratives around our annual estimates and also the expected role of the revenue generating agencies to assist government in reducing or appropriate address the issue of budget funding gap that we face as a nation. The summary of the total estimate, as you rightly pointed out, is 20.51 trillion. And government is expecting from all sources to generate about 9.73 trillion naira, leaving the budget deficit, a proposed deficit of 10.78 trillion naira. That is actually a huge tax before all of us. However, for every given problem or circumstance, there is always a solution that can be profiled, and there are many solutions that can be put together to address this. And as part of it is that the government has charged us as the head of revenue generating agencies or units to improve on our performance in ensuring that this huge deficit is addressed. And part of the things that we intend to do as FRS is not to increase tax rate. We are not also going to introduce new taxes. But what we are going to do is to ensure that we bring in many people to tax net. And when you do that, those that are hitherto not paying taxes, you are able to bring them to paying taxes, to pay taxes, and the government is able to generate more revenue for it to be able to address this budget deficit. But for the specifics, let me also bring to your attention that government at center generate enough to cover probably the entire budget, but the country is not so structured in a manner that government will generate probably revenues from royalty, revenues from customs activity, revenue from port of authority and FRS, and keep everything. Whatever we generate is shared among the three tiers of government, that is the local government, the state, and the federal government that employs some of us to work as the chief revenue officers. So if government were to be generating everything at the center, use it to fund its budget, I don't think there will be any deficit. So that is the first clarification I want to make, because this year alone, FIRS is expected to collect 10.3 trillion naira. And I can assure you we're on track. By end of December, we'll have every cause to celebrate for the first time that a revenue generating agency in Nigeria is able to achieve that much. Last year, we got 6.4 trillion. And since the month of August, we've gone past that mark already for 2022. So we are very confident that if not for the way and manner the structure, the governance is structured in Nigeria, and the fact that there are several issues that are confronting, that are mitigating or that are stopping us, that are posing challenges to our own realizing the revenue potentials. Nigeria should be in a position to generate more than 30-40 trillion. One of those reasons, let me give you this background of the reasons that the challenges we face as a revenue generating agency in Nigeria is that Nigeria, in the whole of this world, is the only country that currently has a total of 813 revenue agencies, made up of Federal Inland Revenue Service, which work for customs, and we have 7 internal revenue authorities at state level, that is FCT, IRS, and 36 Board of Internal Revenue, plus 774 revenue committees at local government level. These numbers I'm reading out excludes other posing revenue collecting agencies like the Commission, which is now NUPRC, the NCC, MP, and so on. This multiplicity of revenue generation agencies have brought about inefficiency in revenue collection and insufficient resources for the respective government. If you check our neighbor, the smallest of our neighbor, Niger, Ghana, name every country, they have one single revenue authority. And with that, you are able to manage all the taxes, you are able to address all the challenges, and you are able to mobilize more revenue. It's not as if taxes are not paid. It's not as if levies are not paid, but paid to who?
Interesting. Let me get one question.
Yes. I would like to ask you a follow-up question, since you have said that, these are the challenges that we have because there are so many bodies, controlling this. And I really want to know what are you doing? I mean, what is the body doing about this, since they have recognized the problem? And there has to be just one body that is regulating it, and because you have said that it is not as if people are not paying taxes. So what's the way forward?
The way forward, we have started conversations in the beginning of the year. If you've been monitoring our activities, we started what we call National Tax Dialogue last year. And the second edition happened in March, precisely on March 26 or 28, between 26 and 28 this year. And the theme of that conference is of the second National Tax Dialogue is harmonizing our tax administration for efficient service delivery and optimal revenue mobilization. This is what we did. Mr. President was personally there, but it's one thing for you to make a proposal, and another thing is for the bureaucracy to make it happen as quickly as possible. But we are making serious progress on that. What we intend doing in order to understand to maximum revenue, when we have an harmonized system, we are going to be able to stop the existing practice where tax dodgers, for instance, meander among relevant tax authorities and confuse them to evade tax payment. That is for those that are evading taxes. Because if you have a multiple tax revenue generating agencies, it is easy for somebody to do, but with an harmonized or a single revenue agency, you are able to track all incomes, you are able to track all transactions and other activities of taxpayer, thereby ensuring a significant improvement in revenue yield, the outcome of which will be a win-win situation for governments at all levels.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm still on the issue now that you have spotlighted as one of the things that is not making your agency very effective in getting the tax. I know that it's quite difficult to reduce agencies in this part of the world. It's very difficult because a lot of all these agencies have been for years, have a lot of workers, have people who are, earning salaries from that, and they would always complain, where do you send us to? So have you met with stakeholders and lawmakers to see how this can be passed into law as quickly? Where have you taken this conversation to? Or is still in the planning process?
I would even want to add to that, because don't you think Nigeria is too big a country for us to have one singular source for taxes? I mean, all the other states that are having their independent local taxes, is that not the reason why we have some federal government taxes and employment taxes and state taxes? I mean, I'm getting a bit confused here. Don't you think Nigeria is too big for us to have a singular tax unit?
Thank you very much for that very important intervention. Harmonizing the tax system in the first place will not result in job losses.
Okay.
One will talk about harmonization. We are saying, instead of having Lagos internal revenue, for instance, let's have a federal revenue authority with one administrative structure, with one technology, being regulated by one law, so that if you want to pay taxes that has to do with Lagos state government, you only need to go to revenue authority once. If you want to pay taxes that have to do with federal and land revenue, you go to revenue authority only once. You may do your returns only one time in a year.
Okay.
What we mean by that is that if you want to pay ground rent, for instance, and you have value-added tax to pay in that month, you also have personal income tax for the things you do. You are going to fill only one form, declare everything, and everything goes to one pocket. So what happens is that there will not be job losses. The revenue will grow in a manner that you never can ever expect, because, like I said before, it's not as if some of these taxes are not paid, but are not paid to the right channel, and they end up not reaching the government coffer. So those employees are needed to continue. You absorb what you are going to do. You are going to create a synergy for a national revenue agency, leading to a growth, expansion, and improvement with capacity to absorb all existing staff of the states and local government revenue authorities. Those employees are needed to continue to cover the operations of the agency in the various states and local government. In fact, more local staff will be needed to reach every nook and cranny of the federating units, which will lead to more employment opportunities as against the fear that probably there will be job loss. Secondly, a national revenue authority is able to deploy technology to cover all collection and administration activities nationwide, including in states where they are still operating manual processes in tax collection. That will give us an opportunity to create and maintain a single electronic database for tax administration in Nigeria. And automation of the tax administration processes will plug leakages, ease revenue administration, improve tax compliance, and ultimately maximize revenue collection. What we currently face in the course of our audit, for instance, is that you open the book of a company to audit them because you have deployed technology to be able to do that. You can do some of this even right in our office without necessarily visiting taxpayers. Then you find income that was paid into an individual's account. Then you also find an income that was paid into company's account. It will interest you to know that the law has not given me power to ask that individual to pay taxes. So if the state government in that particular state has not visited that company and to be able to generate or to be able to use technology to uncover this revenue too, the person has earned that revenue without paying taxes. So these are the things, and this is what we mean by people find it easy to meander, to confuse people, and get away without paying taxes.
This is something that we still need to bring you back for, because I find that when people want to solve problems, they try to just say, you know what, let me control it so I can solve it. Because we're all fighting to decentralize governments. You know, let's us have the states more empowered to do what they need to do. But hearing you say that harmonizing, for me it still sounds a bit too cumbersome. I think that is more effective when individual states are able to have revenue, generate revenue, and then remit to you as a center. But it's a conversation we can have for another. But I think, more importantly, for where we are right now, let me intervene in that. That is not going to be an issue. If you have an administrative body that is functional, the revenue operator that is functional, the revenues that will be generated based on the law, the administrative procedures can be put in place, is that when you generate the revenue based on the relevant laws, the state government are supposed to collect personal income tax, for instance. They are supposed to collect withholding tax on individuals. And this, when you have single revenue, you collect, and you just remit that same money to that the state account. We have started this with synergizing our revenue administrative processes with some states. Kaduna State is a good example. Everybody is happy. Governor Erewa is doing very well. He is not a magician. He has been able to listen to consultants that are advising. He's been able to listen to FIRS, and he's also able to listen to Joint Tax Board. And these recommendations, he accepted them in good faith. And we even delegated or sent one of our staff to go and head the Revenue Authority of Kaduna State. And the first process that we insisted he must do, the first thing we insisted he must do is to harmonize the taxes at the state level first. And I can assure you, from a meager amount of 12 billion annually Kaduna State was generating, they are already collecting over 80 billion. So with harmonization, you have more revenue. With harmonization, you are able to give more employment to people, because when you invest taxpayers' money in capital projects, you are creating employment. When you invest taxpayers' money in the health sector, you are ensuring that people live longer. And that is what is happening today in Kaduna State. Thank you very much, sir. I have to let you go at this time. Thank you very much. As I said, we're going to bring you back. We still need a bit more clarity on this, but I have to go on a break. When we come back, we want our other guests. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy Eastplash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, The best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC communication story.
Thanks for staying with us. So last week we took a story. The United Kingdom warned that there might be a restriction on student and work visas on Nigerians due to the number of dependents that they bring along with them. On the show today, we have a UK-based Nigerian immigration lawyer, Dr. Bukola Faturoti, to speak further on this and some of the abnormalities observed by the British government. Welcome to the show, Dr. Bukola. Are you there?
Yes, I'm Morayo. Good morning to you and
Good
the ladies
morning.
in the studio.
Good morning. Yes, we hope to get a picture of you very soon. So, when we discussed this earlier, you know, we had so many perspectives on the reasons why the British government might be considering this, the anomalies when it happens amongst Nigerians, what we do, what we don't do. But I'd like to start with you today and explain to us, in your view, why do you think the British government is planning to impose some of these restrictions on Nigerians?
Thank you, Morayo. One thing, the first thing we need to establish is that immigration is not bad. Immigration is as old as man himself. As in, there are patriarchs in the Bible actually migrated from one part to the other. However, what has been observed recently is the influx of Nigerians and other nationals who are coming into the country. And it is actually beyond the expectation of the British government, because they were not contemplating the numbers that were coming in at the moment. So it's more of a public policy issue, as in the immigration policy itself has not been thought through. And I'm not trying to bash the British government. It's a case of you cannot approbate and reprobate. As in education, which is one of the ways of bringing people into the country. When people are coming, they don't want to leave their family behind. And immigrants are actually making sacrifices. If you look at the recent figures, as in, this thing is not just about Nigerians. Also, we need to understand that context. The first in India, the Indians, they came in, 117,000 Indians came into the country, followed by Chinese, 115,000 plus, then Nigerians, 65,000 plus. All these numbers that I gave include their dependents, you understand me? So these three countries, they're actually the top ones. So don't let us look at it from Nigerian angles only. Americans also come here, and British themselves, they go overseas as in British, for example, they go to Canada, they go to Australia because of maybe they want a better situation. So that is why I said earlier on that immigration is not actually bad as being made to appear. But the mistake the British government made is that when they're changing the policy, they did not contemplate the fact that many Nigerians, as in looking at what is happening in the country, will be coming like that. And if I can quickly take some steps back, historically, the post-study visa, which we have now, has been in existence since 2004, when we have the graduate and engineering scheme. But because they've realized that, okay, if we have other opportunities for people coming into the country, we'll be able to retain best of the talents. I remember Prime Minister David Cameron saying at that time that we always want the best of the best. So immigration is selfish. That's another thing. It is selfish for the people actually moving away from their home country. And it is also selfish for recipient countries, especially a developed world, who are actually opening their borders so that immigrants could come into their countries. But you cannot pick and choose. That is one thing we need to understand about immigration policy.
Amazing. So I don't personally have a problem with immigration, like you mentioned. It's not bad in itself. But when you want to pass an information, there's a mindset that you would have to consider as a nation, okay? One of the reasons some people had a problem was the way the message was passed. What impacts do you think that, you know, really now the data of everything, all the people that are coming in through Nigeria will make on the citizens of UK? Well, how do you think they will receive the news? Shouldn't it have been better if what they had generated from allowing Nigerians coming be established, while they now say, okay, however, we are now getting to the top where we may have to give restrictions? Shouldn't that have been a better way to convey the message?
Well, I think, again, we listen to the news rather than listening to the person who is speaking, because the Home Office Secretary who made this statement, as in, we didn't know what was said, but I actually read a couple of papers which is saying, okay, Nigerians are bringing in more number of relatives. Those things may actually spark a sort of protest, as in, for example, when the Jamaicans, when they came into the country in what was known as Windrush, they were not well received. But the world has actually moved. Again, let's quickly talk about EU. Before UK left out of EU, one of the politicians there by the name Farage was always talking about what immigrants are doing, criticizing people from Poland, criticizing people from Romania. He has a point, but the way he's putting the message across is the problem. Possibly it is not about the number of people coming in, but what is existing as in the infrastructure. Again, we need to recognize the fact that when you are bringing in too many people in your country, you need to prepare the infrastructure to welcome them. And I believe that is the fear of the Home Secretary. But again, UK need people, as in look at doctors, healthcare workers, education, which is my area, for example. Education is an import for a country like UK, for a country like Australia, for a country like Canada. So, but when you're putting the message across, make sure you say it in the right way, especially when you're talking about cyber bullying earlier on, but I won't want to go into that now.
So for me, as a Nigerian, I'm living here in my country, and we're constantly talking about how this immigration is negatively affecting our home country. What would you think? I just want to find out from, someone like you, what is the best advice so that we are not constantly giving our best out? Is it really a problem of Nigeria, or is it just that where there are better opportunities, people would always find their way out?
Thank you. That's Miriam, I believe. I listened to the interview as in the program on Monday, And I really like your submissions. I really like it, as in you were so passionate about it. Nobody would like to leave his people. As in, I've been in the UK for about 20 years now.
Okay.
I went to one of the best universities in Nigeria, University of Ibadan, precisely Premier University. Do you think I would love to leave my people, the food that I like, the language that I like, if the country is a country where everybody, where the son of nobody has the assurance of becoming somebody without any influence? Do you think people will be rushing out of the country? We should make our home. You understand? I'm not criticizing any government. As in, the way I stand, I'm not for any political party. I'm for good governance. So I don't want anybody to spend this thing to say, maybe I'm criticizing the current government. No, the problem we have is not of today. You understand me? So one thing is that the government should make their home attractive. And that's why I pointed out earlier on that immigration is not something that we should even look at from developing countries only. There are illegal Americans living in the UK. Would you believe that? I was on the plane one time, and immediately the couple that sat beside me realized that I was working as an immigration lawyer. They said, oh, is there any way you could help our son? These are British couple traveling to the US to see their son because they wanted him to get a permanent residence in there. So if governments can make their country suitable, their country habitable, that the youths will have no reason to run away, I think nobody will be moving out the way we're moving out at the moment.
All right, so I would like to ask, like, I'm going to, take another angle entirely from what she has said. What if, as you have said, that the Americans living in the UK and they are illegal, one would be surprised because you would think that their country is actually good. But now, if the government now make everything nice and people should stay back, but you still have people who want to go to other countries. I am asking here, with these statements that, the Home Office has made, what do you think, can be done? Would you say that it is on Nigerians, or how do we control the relatives, the family members we take abroad? How does that even happen? Like, how can this be nipped in the bud so that it does not affect people who want to travel out of the country?
Okay, before I come to that answer, is that nobody can be satisfied. You understand me? All our needs are insatiable. So irrespective of how your country is, people migrating at times is not just for money. Some people actually migrate for freedom. You understand? If you look at, some people may migrate because of their sexuality, because of persecution. We need to recognize that. But now going to this issue of relatives. A country will decide who comes in. If you're coming to the UK, for example, and you want to study an undergraduate program, you are not allowed to bring in your family members. So where there is no law restricting or placing a cap on the numbers of people that you can bring in as much you can prove that they're your brother, they're your children, or your wife, or your husband, that is enough. There are countries in the world that you can never get their citizenship. Countries like Qatar, countries like Saudi, countries like North Korea, if you live there for 50 years, you can't get their citizenship. So if we don't want
full picture, I feel that many of us... Economic impact, yes, even those going and even those coming back. For me, I feel that the Nigerians who are doing so well abroad are those who have their first degree here, because we love to paint how Nigeria is so bad. But many people leave here with their first degree, go there, do additional courses, and then get great jobs. Many Nigerians who struggle, that I find, and as I said, I don't have the data, somewhat who struggle are those who are somewhat born in the system, where they go into the system and they're born, they're raised there, and they just trickle into and just blend with the average African American or British American, black British, and they're stereotyped into this community and they have the regular jobs. Help me with some data as an immigration lawyer. You're a lecturer, you might have some data to help me out here. What are the numbers looking at? Is it really beneficial economically for us to lose? Is it beneficial for them actually to gain us, Or how is it more beneficial for us to gain them back to Nigeria? What do we do to bring them back home? I don't know if I'm making this sense.
Yes, you are.
I get your point. It is, you see, it is beneficial both ways, and it is destructive both ways if it is not managed. I am after controlled immigration. It's not because I have British citizenship. I have dual citizenship. Now, let us quickly look at the economic benefit. The remittance, according to the World Immigration Report of 2018, Nigeria is ranked 6th. Nigeria actually got remittances of $22 billion, which is 5.84 of our GDP. You look at that. And another thing is that some families, what they achieve, they might have not been able to achieve it, if not because of immigration. As in, maybe they now have somebody overseas or recipient countries. One thing you will realize is that they also get their own benefit in terms of skills. So if expats, or if they're moving out of Nigeria, it means there will be brain drain in Nigeria. So we need to recognize that, but which means for Nigeria to retain their best, they should make the country habitable. Look at ASU, and let me use myself as a personal example. I have 2 undergraduate degrees. My first degree was in English language. I spent 7 years doing it.
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow.
When I went back to the university to study law, I spent 5 years, which means I spent 12 years obtaining my first degree. When I moved to the UK, my master's, I finished them on time. When I did my PhD, the same thing was applicable. So you can imagine, Nigeria will not be losing their students, for example. Again, I'm sure my universities in the UK will not want me to say this. If the UK education, if the Nigerian educational system is fantastic, not in terms of lecturers, as in we have very good lecturers in Nigeria, I can say that, but if you come in at a particular time and you graduate at the right time, then what is the incentive of running overseas? If you want to perform an experiment, I have colleagues who have to use their own money to buy data, as in, I don't have to use my money to buy data when I'm working in the UK. So you see, it's both ways. Both countries actually benefit. And when you have too many people coming into a particular country, it can cause the rate of crime to go up. Because this is one of actually the arguments against international trading.
Let me have to wrap up there, Dr. Bukola Fatirote. I have to wrap up, but thank you so much. We just needed to get a more enlightened perspective to this conversation, because we had shared our own personal views on this week, and we just thought it was important to get an immigration lawyer who is also a lecturer in the UK to shed some light, and I think you've done justice to that. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the show today.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes, that's all we can take on the show today. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.